Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another video here at Slashers and Superheroes. I'm Cameron, that's Jacob, and we're back. But this time it is for the top 10 best movies of 2023. We just did the worst. We're sick and tired of talking about bad movies. We want to talk about good movies now. Um, so, welcome to the channel as always. If you guys are new here, follow us on our links below and up top. Like, subscribe, the usual, and these videos are pretty lengthy, so if you want to stick through the whole thing, please do. Please listen to us ramble, as always, and thank you for
Yep.
stopping by. Um, so yeah, top 10 movies. I'm excited to get into these. I think they're going to be pretty similar, I feel like, but
Yeah,
we could still get into it. We could still talk about it and discuss. It's not going to be a big deal,
for
but
sure.
um, let's go ahead and start with you at number 10. Number 10.
So my number 10 is Dungeons and Dragons. Um,
Yes.
this movie not only is on my top 10 best list, probably one of the most surprising movies of the
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Didn't expect it to be this good. Chris Pine is great in it. I thought there was a really good sense of like adventure and fantasy in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the comedy for the most part hit. And by the end of the movie, there was like a really good emotional punch to it. You know, acting was great. I thought the design of the creatures were really cool with the dragon and everything. And yeah, this movie was a lot of fun, and it has good rewatchability. I've seen it a few times this year, and every time I highly enjoy it. So yeah, Dungeons and Dragons is my number 10.
Yeah, it's a very good film. I'll talk about it later because it's further down or further up, rather. But
Yep.
it's a very good film. Um, Dungeons and Dragons is your number 10. My number 10 is Across the Spider Verse. Now, you're
Oh,
you're thinking,
not a hot take.
wow. You're thinking, wow, Across the Spider Verse is this low in your top 10? Yeah,
You hater. You're a
li-
hater.
okay, I get it. Listen, I get it. You know, a
It's
lot
the
of
best
people.
movie ever made. What are you talking about?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, I get it. No, but listen, it's this is probably the best animated like most like beautifully animated film I probably have ever seen. Um,
Hmm.
and it's just I feel like the story doesn't reach the heights that Into did because Into was such like an introduction story and it introduced us to this my that Miles and and the voice acting is great in this and while I don't think the story is as strong as the first one, I do think it is still strong enough to carry it into a third film and to end it as a trilogy. Um, just a lot of good stuff. Like especially there's different characters that have different backgrounds and they're like different like there's different artistic styles and it's just
Hmm.
really cool. Like I really like that's probably why I really liked Puss in Boots: The Last Wish a lot last year. It
Hmm.
was right behind Top Gun for me with top movie of the year for 2022. That's mainly the reason why I liked that film is because the animation style was just really cool, and they basically used every single different DreamWorks animation and put it into one film. I feel like Sony Pictures was just like, let's just have fun. Here's some
Hmm.
watercolor, here's some sticker pastel type stuff, and here's the regular like Spider-Man 2099 and then the noir and then
Hmm.
introduced all these different wacky spider. It was just so it was fun to just kind of like look at all the little Easter eggs and see all the cameos and it's just a fun watch. Again, it's not as good as Into the Spider-Verse. I don't think, it's better animated for sure. It's not
Hmm.
as good as the first one, but it's still a very good film. And it's my number 10, which is very surprising because a lot of people would put it higher, but I enjoyed more movies this year. But
Yeah.
yeah, Across the Spider-Verse is number 10 for me.
Okay.
Number 9.
So my number 9 is Amazon Prime Totally Killer. Uh,
Yes. Okay.
if you haven't seen Totally Killer, it's here's a quick pitch of it. It is, I would say, Back to the Future meets Scream. Um, this movie, when I saw the trailer for it, I was like, I'm probably gonna really enjoy that. It's like right up my alley for that
Hmm.
type of horror movie or slasher. And I saw it, and it definitely was. This movie was a blast. Back to the Future is probably my all-time favorite movie. So it had sprinkles of that, which is great. I think they even referenced Back to the Future, which is really cool. Um, so yeah, uh, this movie was awesome. I thought the main girl was great. It had
Hmm.
a lot of charisma. Um, I thought there's a movie that I like the killer design more. That's a little bit later on this list, but I thought that killer design for the most part was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I thought there were some pretty good kills in this. Yeah, this movie was really fun, and I liked the killer reveal. I thought it wasn't too predictable. Um, and they haven't announced a sequel yet. I don't know if we'll get one, but if they do, I'll be definitely on board to watch it because this movie was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, you had seen this movie and you were like, yeah, this movie's pretty badass. You should check it. And I checked it out. It was actually it was fun. It was real fun. It's not in my
Hmm.
top 10, but it's fun. It's harmless. There's a lot of cool kills and there's a lot of cool like who done it type thing because it's different characters from a different
Hmm.
type of thing, and so it's
Yeah,
just really cool
and
that
'80s music is my favorite decade of music, and so there's a lot of good '80s music in this, which also just adds to it and
yeah.
why I enjoyed it so much.
And
Yeah.
you can thank Stranger Things because Stranger Things has made me
Yep.
love 80s music a lot. So yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. It's again, it's Back to the Future, Scream, and you can also add Stranger Things to that mix too, except
Yep.
with all the power stuff. But
Happy Death Day too is
yeah,
another comparison I've been
it-
seeing. Yeah.
it's very colorful. It's fun. The characters are funny and just
Hmm.
a lot of good stuff in that. So I don't mind that as your number nine. But my number nine, um, it's another slasher. It's Scream Six. Now, um, Scream Six. Now we know the whole controversy. Melissa Barrera is not going to be back. Jenna Ortega is not going to be back. So Scream Seven is going to see this whole new reboot, which is okay because the ending for this film was kind of open ended. Um,
Hmm.
but the reason why it's in my top 10 is because I appreciate it much more now than I did when we saw it in January. Because, this is the last time we're going to see these characters. It's going to be the last time um, that we see anything, out of any of these characters. And so
Hmm.
now I know a lot of people, complain about the killers, which, I mean, I'm not as big of a Scream fan. I think the first Scream is fantastic, but I'm just
Hmm.
not like a big Scream goer type person.
Hmm.
But I really really enjoyed this. Like the kills were really cool. Um, the core four, they have really good chemistry, and it's really fun to see them together. And you know, how a lot of people feel about Jenna Ortega. People say stuff about her looks, whatever, but she's actually a really good actress. Melissa Barrera is also a really good actress. And I just love how the meta ness. It's been a Scream thing, just how meta it is. It's been
Hmm.
like that since the first film with Randy. Um, but I really enjoy it because it just again with all the stuff that has happened, it has made me appreciate the movie a lot more. And so that's why it's my number nine. It's a good fun
Hmm.
slasher, and it's got some good scares too. And that train scene is really badass. That the train scene is probably the best thing in that film. But yeah,
Hmm.
that's my number nine in Scream Six.
Number 8.
So my number 8 is Across the Spider Verse. That
Okay.
was number 10, correct?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Similar to what you said. The animation is incredible, and some of the best animation we've ever seen in an animated movie. Story wise, I did really enjoy the story, but I thought the story in Into the Spider Verse was better.
Yeah.
Um, I know this is probably a lot of people. I'm sure this is their movie of the year, and I didn't love it as much there. And but yeah, this movie was still great. Seeing all the different, you know, Spider Man is one of my favorite superheroes. So seeing all the different Spider Man was cool. Spider Man 2099. and I love the animation and the art style of when they were in Gwen's universe with like the watercolor of it, dripping down the walls and everything. That was some of my favorite stuff.
Dad.
And yeah, I thought by the end, I don't know if I want to spoil who the villain is, but I thought the villain was a cool reveal. And my favorite part of the movie was actually towards the end. It is the reveal. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. When you find out who the Prowler is in the
Yes.
universe that Miles is in,
Yeah.
that was probably my favorite part of the whole entire movie. And I really like the ending too. The ending hints kind of grabbing from Into the Spider Verse and bringing it into the last movie to tie everything together into the trilogy. And yeah, I really enjoyed the ending. And unlike Fast X, I felt like where they ended was a good spot. So
Yeah.
yeah. Number 8 is Across the Spider Verse.
Yeah, and as opposed to Fast X, the movie was actually cool, and the cliffhanger was actually done a lot better because the movie was actually good. So, yeah, that's a good film. Number 8 for me. It's another slasher. Um, it's our new holiday treat for November. Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving. I really enjoyed this film a lot. The killer, John Carver, is probably the most brutal killer I have seen in a long time. Like this guy was ruthless. He was killing people. He was drinking their blood as wine. He carved a lady's leg like turkey. It was incredible. And that entire dinner scene, like that was just grotesque. That was just it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The characters are they're annoying to a certain extent, but that's just how slashers are. There's characters that are going to be annoying, but they weren't like they were done in a, I guess, reasonable way, in a realistic way.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Dempsey, Mr. McDreamy, he's good in this. I do in the movie is cheesy. Okay, it's very cheesy, and there's going to be a lot of cheesy one-liners and. But don't let that stir you away from it's bloody. It's an Eli Roth film. It's just really, it's just fun. There's nothing much else I could say about it, and I was actually pretty surprised with how good it was. So, and I do think it was better than Scream 6 because this one was bloodier, and I actually enjoyed the kills better. So, yeah, number 8 is Thanksgiving for me. Good film. Go check it out.
Number 7.
All right, so my number 7 is a movie you literally just mentioned. Scream 6 is my number 7. So for context, I haven't seen any of the Scream movies until last year. Went ahead and binged all the Scream movies, 1 through 5. And then saw 6 in theaters. So 6 was the first Scream movie I saw in theaters, and it's actually my favorite Scream movie. I actually prefer 6 to the original. And yeah, I think this movie's great.
Huh.
Yeah, I thought the setting of New York was a really cool choice to change things up and make this movie more fresh compared to the others in the franchise. And I thought they used this setting well. I know some people feel like they could have went a little bit further with the New York setting, but I thought they used it great. With the subway scene is probably my favorite scene in the whole entire movie, with the lights flickering on and off, and there's multiple ghost faces, and they don't know which one is just in the ghost face costume, but which one's the actual killer. Love that part. The ladder scene was a really cool, intense part. And yeah, the it's just some of the best Ghostface stuff is in this movie.
Yeah, Ghostface
And
is very aggressive. Like he's
mhm,
like I want to fucking kill you. Like
yeah,
Ghostface, he's just like in
yeah,
the originals, he just like he wants to play with you, cat and mouse. But no, he's like in this one, he's
mhm,
running up to you and stabbing you and shooting you with a shotgun. Like
yeah.
yeah,
And you're talking about the reveal. I'm the same way. Like I didn't have a huge problem with the reveal. It wasn't completely unpredictable, but I thought the movie was. I was already on board at that point. I was like, this is great. This I was having a blast, and that reveal didn't. It didn't like blow me away, being like, "What jaw dropping," but it wasn't enough where it just completely tanked the movie. So, uh, yeah, and how it ended too, like you said, how it ended, I thought just the way they ended it, they could definitely. We'll see what they do with Scream Seven, but they could definitely pull it off as it being the end of their story, and they end up having a happy the rest of their lives and not being chased by Ghostface. So, yeah, Scream Six is my number seven. Really good slasher film.
yeah. And plus, they could pull a Sydney, and be like Sydney sends her
Mm-hmm.
regards or stuff like that. Like it's very easy to do that stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's a good pick for your number. What number 7, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
number seven.
My number 7. Now this one was pretty high up in my list, but as the year has gone on, there's been more movies that have climbed higher. But this is still a good film. Air, which is the sports documentary on the first Nike Jordan shoe and how they were
Mm-hmm.
able to land Jordan. Um, I just thought like this movie surprised me because it was very well written. Matt Damon, I've grown to love Matt Damon as an actor. Like before, like I was just like he's just another guy. I mean, he's okay. He just gets a lot of roles, but no, Matt Damon's actually a really good actor. And Ben Affleck directed this, which surprised me because Ben Affleck, I mean, it doesn't really surprise me because Ben Affleck's a great director. He's had some great films that he's directed.
Mm-hmm.
It was shot well. The characters were funny. There was not a single character in this film that I didn't dislike, like real life, correlation, whatever. Um, and although, yeah, they didn't show Michael's face at all. Like there was like a stand-in guy that was as Jordan as Michael. You know, when I first reviewed the film, it was an issue for me where I was just like I wanted to see his face. I wanted to see if they were able to pull it off, but it was
That
a
was an
smart.
issue. Yeah, I would say that was an issue for me in the film.
But
Was
it's
like I don't know. Is yeah. Go ahead.
But I felt like it was a smart move because I don't know if you can find anybody that looks like Michael,
Mm-hmm.
or if you'll just like CGI his face onto someone else's face. Like it made sense
Mm-hmm.
in the long run. But at the beginning, I was just like, I don't know. Like that was like my only nitpick with the film. But the characters were great. The acting was great. It was written very well, and how it all came together to finally that sales pitch towards Jordan. It was so messy, but it was so beautiful. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and so yeah, Air's number 7. I mean it doesn't have like rewatchability for me. Like I'll probably watch it like one more time and be like, oh yeah, I still love this film, but it's not like replayability like the other
Mm-hmm.
movies I mentioned, but it's pretty top notch. So yeah, Air's my number 7.
Number 6.
So my number six is Eli Roth's Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Uh, like you, I think this is a little bit better than Scream Six. Um, yeah, this movie is freaking awesome. Some of the kills in this movie are some of my favorites I've ever seen in a slasher film, and John Carver has the potential, to me, has the potential to be up there with the other slasher icons like Michael, Freddy, Jason, Ghostface. He has the potential, and I'm really excited that there's a Thanksgiving too, because yeah, this movie was a blast. I didn't feel you said the characters were a little bit annoying. I didn't feel that way. I got a very going back to Scream, I got a very Scream vibe with the movie, where the characters were I don't know they were realistic high school, like high schoolers are annoying.
No,
So
yeah, no, that's what I was
I
saying.
just feel like
Like,
it was realistic. Yeah.
no, that's what I was saying. Like, I said that they were annoying, but it was
Yeah.
like done in a realistic way. That's
Hmm.
what I
Yeah.
mentioned.
Yeah. And I thought the story was really good. Like the backstory of the opening scene, dude, with the Black Friday is
Oh
awesome.
yeah, like me and
And
you, we were sitting next to each other in the theater, and we were just laughing our asses off because
yeah.
of just how like real. Like I've never seen a Black Friday thing go down like that because I usually shop online or whatever. But just like how people were yelling at each other in their in Boston accents, and they were just
Mhm.
running over each other for a fucking waffle iron. Like it was just like hilarious, and like
And
someone gets
like
ran over by with a shopping cart, and we're both
yeah.
laughing and like ha 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 ha. Like it's
Hey, Bon Jovi, let me get the back of the line, okay?
Stop, Mike! We were here first!
Hey, everybody, just calm down.
2 hits, I hit you. You hit the ground, kid.
What the? Jesus, everybody, be patient.
Yeah,
was hilarious.
the opening's great, and I thought it it how it ties into the story and the killer and everything was great. You know, I thought there was enough. Uh, I thought the story was great with there was enough to the plot to where it was believable with the killer. Um, yeah, the killer reveal. I love the killer reveal, and the only knock on the movie is I thought the last like 5 minutes or so were a little bit rushed.
yeah, it was very
Which
rushed.
it being a sequel, they could definitely fix that with it being a sequel. With there a sequel coming out in 2025. But yeah, I love this movie. It's actually now that I've actually sat on it. I know we saw it around what was it, about a month ago. We saw it.
Mhm.
It's one of my favorite slasher movies of all time. Like that is that high up for me. And yeah, Thanksgiving. Can't wait for the sequel. This movie was a blast. I loved it.
That's your number 6. It's Thanksgiving. Um, yeah, that's an immediate cop when it comes on DVD
Mm-hmm.
and Blu-ray.
Oh,
Yeah.
the second it hits streaming, I'm watching it again because
Yeah.
I've only seen it once. So
I've seen it twice, so
yeah.
a lot of fun. So yeah, my number 6 is I actually like this film a little bit better than you. Dungeons and Dragons. This movie was surprisingly hilarious. Like I was laughing the entire time. Um, Chris Pine, man, he's like that Matt Damon situation where I was like, I just thought he was like another actor who got all these roles, but he's actually surprisingly funny and really good at this whole acting gig.
Mhm.
Michelle Rodriguez, like we know her from the Fast movies, like you know how much that entire franchise just burdens people, but she's actually really like they're
Yeah.
like the action scenes that happen in this film, she's in the majority of them and she rocks that. She kills that shit. She's like
Mhm.
throwing shit at people and it's really choreographed really well. And then you have what's his face? Justice Smith from Detective Pikachu. He's in there. He's funny too. He's that the guy with no self confidence. You know that whole trope is funny. And then the girl from It, I forget that plays young Beverly. I forgot her actress's name.
Yeah.
Sophia Lillis, I think, is her name. She's great.
Yep.
She's great in everything I see her in. She's in that Ariana Greenblatt type situation,
Yeah.
area. I think the whole cast was great. The Bridgerton guy, the scenes between him and Chris Pine, and he was walking over that rock, and like it's super funny and it's super emotional, and like it's surprisingly like it got me a little teary eyed a little bit. Like it is.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The ending actually packs an emotional punch. Where
Yeah.
it's not just a funny adventure movie. Like
It's-
there's some emotion to it too.
And it's not forced. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel forced, you know.
Mhm.
And just the acting altogether is fun and it's written very well. It's really funny. It's heartwarming. And I mean, if you go look at the Rotten Tomatoes, it's got really really good reviews. And it was so good. In fact, I played my first Dungeons and Dragons game like a couple weeks after I watched the film. That should tell you how good this film is, because as soon as I watched the film and I started playing my first match, I'm like, so that's the place that they went. Oh, so that's the place that they. Oh, okay, I get it. It's just a lot of fun. So yeah, number 6 for me is Dungeons and Dragons.
Number 5.
So we can go ahead and alternate.
Okay.
Start with my number 5. My number 5 is Talk to Me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think this is a little higher on your list, but for me, Talk to Me, probably one of the best possession movies since Conjuring 2. And it's funny that we had 2 Exorcist movies in our or exorcism movies in our
Yeah.
worst, because it was time for a good one. It's just the story for this one was so unique. Like, we had never seen anything like it before. And it's funny, the directors for this movie, if y'all have ever seen Raka Raka, these guys made insane, like, they made videos that Ronald McDonald would pee on people. They made movies where he would
We're not kidding either.
he would
Yeah.
he would grope people, and they made like these weird like videos. And how the minds of those 2 gentlemen were able to make something so substantially different and so like
Yeah.
cool, like,
Well, it's like it's like the Jordan Peele thing too. With
yeah,
Jordan Peele being a comedian, and then he makes Get Out and blows everyone away.
yeah. He hasn't hit the peak like that. So hopefully, you know, with Jordan Peele, I mean, us and Nope are fine, but you know, Rock Rock, hopefully they are able to, because Talk to Me 2 has been greenlit. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what they are able to do with that. Talk to Me, right?
Yep.
Um,
They're also doing a Street Fighter movie.
They are. I'm very excited, and they were big Mortal Kombat fans. They did a lot of Mortal Kombat videos too. So I'm just super happy for them, because I know they worked really hard to get here, and I grew up watching them, so I'm very happy for them. But yeah, this movie is just really unique. It's super cool, and the scenes that, you know, people get possessed, like, batshit crazy.
Oh my god.
Super crazy. But yeah, Talk to Me, number 5.
All right, so my number 5 is Blue Beetle. Uh, this was my favorite DC movie of the year.
Yeah.
It was probably the only great DC movie of
Yeah.
the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this movie. I'm sure there's bias with me being a big Cobra Kai fan and Cholo playing Jaime Reyes, but bias aside, Cholo was still awesome as Jaime Reyes.
He was the perfect casting.
Yeah, perfect casting. He killed it. And while some people think this movie's generic, I thought there was enough differences to make it stand out, while still having another thing that made it fresh. So what made it different to me was the family dynamic, being at such a forefront, because we've seen family be a thing in superhero movies, but it was always like a thing that's, you know, talked about, and then it's in the background towards the second half of the movie, where it's just him pretty much being a superhero being on his own or with
Right.
other superheroes. This was like the family being at the forefront and them being the ones that have to save him, and then once they save him, that's when he has his time to shine to defeat the villain. Yeah, I thought that was different. The Hispanic like culture and everything, it was so authentic, which makes sense with, you know, everyone working on the movie being Hispanic. So yeah, that was awesome. And also too, what made it fresh was that it felt like I got at times I got like a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man early 2000s kind of feel to it, and we haven't gotten that in a while. So while some people think that it's stuff that we've seen before, I thought it made it fresh, and it was cool getting like an old school type of feel superhero movie while being different, you know, when in some aspects. And like there are definitely some similarities, like you know, it has like a Spider-Man feel at times,
Mm-hmm.
and like I mentioned with Tobey Maguire, but also too with what happens with his dad. Yeah, I thought there was no differences where it really stands out. And the suit is one of my favorite live action superhero suits that we've gotten, which is all practical, which is awesome. Um, and yeah, Blue Beetle is my number 5.
Number 4.
Well, funny enough, Blue Beetle is my number 4, so
Okay.
we can go right to there. Yeah, like you said, it it was weird because it's something like this superhero film was something that you would see in a lot of superhero films, but they made it feel different. Like there
Mm-hmm.
was something different about it. Like the chemistry between the family, like they felt like a family. They didn't like
Mm-hmm.
they didn't feel like any type of Fast and Furious bullshit, like makeshift fam. Like it felt like an actual like they actually loved each other, like on set, off
Mm-hmm.
set, all that stuff. Um, it was very emotional. It was very funny too. George
Mm-hmm.
Lopez, my God, that guy was hilarious in this film. And there's a lot of cool action scenes between him and the side baddie. There's the main baddie, which is Cord.
Carapax.
No, Carapax was the side.
Yeah.
Cord was the actual main
Mm-hmm.
baddie, right?
Yeah.
And at first, I was with Carapax. I thought like with him, like he felt like just run of the mill villain. Like he reminded
Mm-hmm.
me of Ironmonger from Iron Man 1. Like this
Yeah.
movie gave me a lot of Iron Man 1 vibes,
Mm-hmm.
but like he felt kind of generic. But towards the end, like it actually made me feel bad for the guy, and
Mm-hmm.
the way it kind of turned it on its head. I was like, okay, I like this a lot. That's really cool. And for the budget, the CGI is great. The CGI
Mm-hmm.
looks really good, and that suit is incredible. Like we had seen those set photos of of Solo in the suit. He
Mm-hmm.
looked ballin' in that suit. Like
Mm-hmm.
we were ready for that thing to show up on the big screen. And you know, I'm just like you. I love Cobra Kai. This guy is the one who got me hooked on both Stranger Things and Cobra Kai. But Cobra Kai, like that's he's great in that always. He's probably the only
Mm-hmm.
sane person in that show, but he's great, right? Because everyone's dealing with their issues, whatever. He's dealing with his issues with Sam. Anyway, that's a whole different thing. We'll talk about that later. But
We're starting the Cobra Kai talk. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, Zolo's great. The whole cast is great. It's really, I love that film. Like, I'm sooner or later I'm gonna get it on Blu-ray. But
Yeah.
it's just really fun. It's a lot of fun. I love it a lot.
There
But
we
yeah,
go.
that's my number 4, Blue Beetle.
Wait. Focus.
You're the
Someone
blue.
focus. Okay, there you go.
You're
You
the
see it.
Blue Beetle. Yeah,
There we go.
fun.
All right. So my number 4 is John Wick 4.
Ah, look at that.
This movie is one of the best action movies I've ever seen. Absolutely insane stunts in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
The samurai fight at the first act of the movie, and then you get into the fight with they're playing the cards, and then that breaks into a fight with the club while it's raining. Like there's so many awesome parts in this movie. Keanu Reeves, very little amount of lines, but he's great.
Yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne, the little time he's in it, he's great. Bill Skarsgård always plays a freaking villain.
Yeah.
And crushes it to me. And yeah, just some of the stuff in this movie. Like another thing too is in the third act is the over the head. It was kind of like a video game type thing.
Oh
Where it's
yeah.
like over the head when they have the
Oh,
gun
yeah.
that explodes. Another awesome part.
That gave me a nerdgasm.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
And I loved how it ended too. Like they actually went through with it with what happens at the end. And I hope they don't make a fifth one. Please don't make a fifth one because this fourth one ended perfectly. And to me, it's the best out of the 4. So yeah, I love John Wick 4. Such a fun watch. Is it long? Yeah, but I think it warrants the runtime with how good it is through the whole way.
And plus, the time flies by pretty fast. So because it's just like it's like
Oh, it's constant action.
It's constant. So, yeah,
Yep.
that film's great.
Number 3.
So, number 3. This one is a fairly new addition. Godzilla -1 is number 3. It actually really surprised me how good this like most Godzilla films, you don't think of good characters, you don't think of good human stories, and whatever. These guys, these characters within this story, they've been through a lot. They've been through so much tragic loss, so much life, things, and that I don't know the actresses and the actors by heart, because this is a foreign film. This is made in Japan and whatever. But they all did fantastic. Even the extras, the little lines that they had. It's surprisingly emotional. The CGI looks good for its budget. Like, there was like a rumor going around that it was like $15 million, and the director like heard the rumor, and he's like, "Oh, I wish we had that budget." I'm like, "So you saying you did that with less than 15 million? What the hell?" Like, it's surprising.
I heard the studio gave him like a $20 bill, and he was like, "Here you go."
Yeah, if they were able to make that with $20, yeah, I can make a film like that and earn a bunch of money.
Yeah.
But no, Godzilla, like we talked about it in our review. If you haven't checked our review, please go check it out. But
Yeah, we did do a review for this not long ago.
yes,
Yeah.
It shows one of the best like uses and like best visuals of how Godzilla uses his powers, and it's so devastating, but it's so beautiful to look at. Like, whatever I'm saying here, I'm pretty much gonna say in the review, so I'm not gonna talk about it too much. That's just gonna tell that. Please go watch it, but go watch the movie and watch the review, because it's such a good film, and I was very surprised by it. And I mean, I saw the reviews and I was like, surely not, surely yes, it's very good. So yeah, Godzilla -1 is my number 3.
So my number 3 is Talk to Me.
Okay.
Like you touched on it earlier. It is a possession movie, but there's such a unique spin on it, and that it stands out from possession movies that we've gotten a ton, like Pope's Exorcist and Exorcist Believer, that are very generic. This stands out from the pack. The writing's great with the main character Mia, and her backstory and what happens with her mom and how that ties into the whole story. I think the embalmed hand is such a cool prop to have the story center around. And yeah, some really just creepy scares in this movie. I don't think it's like, I know some people were like, it's like run out of the freaking theater screaming scary. Like, I don't think it's that.
Yeah.
But it is a really creepy movie.
Yeah.
And it's one of those movies that once you see it, you think about. And yeah. And the ending of this movie it's one of my favorite endings of movies this year.
It's
how it
bananas.
ends. Yeah. It's
wild.
such a cool tie-in.
Yeah.
The whole story and everything. And that's there's no official release date on when the second one is coming out. But if there was a release date, it being 2024, it would definitely be at the top of my list for 2024. But I don't think it's going to come out 2024. We'll see. But yeah, I'm really excited for the sequel because this movie was awesome, and it's my favorite A24 film so far that they made.
Number 2.
My number 2 happens to be John Wick Chapter 4. This movie is
Mr. John Wick.
John Wick. Yeah, this movie is like constant like you said, like you touched. It's constant action. It's like the entire like car scene, like when they're going in circles. That shit was like
Yeah, that's That's one I missed too. Yeah.
Keanu falls down from a 20-story building, and then he like falls on the ground, and he just gets up. He's like, I'm fine, like stuff like that. Like, I know he doesn't do that, right?
Yeah.
But like it's just like big ass action scene, and then John talks for a bit, and then it's like I can't even put into words how insane this film is. Like, I can't, because you basically touched upon all that needs to be touched upon. It's probably the best action film I've ever seen in my life, and that's saying a lot because I've seen a lot of action films. But yeah, definitely the best out of the four. The length can be felt a little bit, but honestly, who cares when you have action scenes like that? Who cares? Now, I do agree with you. I know that the ballerina film is coming out with Ana de Armas. That's coming out. Hopefully that's, prequels or, sequels, stuff after John Wick. I hope that continues, but
Yeah.
we don't need any more. We're done. No more John Wick 5. I know there was rumors after the fourth one came out. Let's just leave it to rest. Let this masterpiece, leave it alone. Yeah. Best action movie I've ever seen in my life. So, yeah. John Wick Chapter 4 is number 2 for me. And I can only guess what your number 2 is going to be.
So my number 2 is a movie that we reviewed not too long ago, Godzilla -1.
Yep.
We touched on it. I'm not going to go too in depth about it because we didn't know. I'm pretty sure it was like almost an hour long review.
Yeah.
But
It was about 30 minutes.
yeah, this movie is great. Something that's been a weakness in Godzilla movies was a strength in this movie with the characters. The story was great, kept you invested, even though we have to read the subtitles the whole entire movie. The writing and the characters were so good that it didn't take away from any of it. Us having to read the whole movie, like we were invested, and some of the best Godzilla action too in movies, like that first atomic breath scene. Our freaking theater shook with the atomic breath scene. It was awesome. Yeah, this is a great movie, and I'm gonna say second best movie, but it's one of the best movies of the year, and it's my number 2.
Yeah. That like you said, that atomic breath scene. Nah, it's just that's fucking incredible. Like, I have this no words, but yeah, that film was great.
Number 1.
And so number 1, Jacob, what did you say to me? You said
I'm pretty sure we have the same number 1. Yeah.
It's Guardians, isn't it?
No. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Guardians 3.
Guardians Volume 3. Now, yeah, this is James Gunn's swan song before he goes off to DC. He has started off well over at DC with Blue Beetle, which is also in our top 10. But yeah, this is I can't believe I cried over a CGI raccoon. I can't believe it. That just shows you how good. Like, how would you believe? From the first Guardians film to now. Like, the first Guardians film is one of my favorite MCU movies. Again, MCU tier list video. Go check it out, please. Like, we would get from there to here. It's incredible, like, how their arcs have changed, and how beautifully James Gunn has written them, and how they've grown as characters. And this is probably, like, even including Infinity War and Endgame and No Way Home, and this is probably the most I've ever cried on a film. Like, you and me, like, you didn't cry as much as I did, but I was like leaking, like, just tear, like, just full on. Like, I was just like, my sleeves were soaked. I heard you like sniffling right beside me. My girlfriend was like just completely dying. I'm sure there was like a puddle in her seat. It was the most emotional Marvel movie, and it is so deserving of number 1. Like, it was funny, it was emotional. Like, okay, there's like really bad whiplash because there would be like an emotional scene and then like a funny joke right after it, but the jokes worked. It wasn't like a joke like just to like make you forget the traumatic experience that you just dealt with. The jokes worked, and so it was emotional. The jokes were funny. The characters. We love them, and they were great. And this film has made like Rocket my favorite like MCU character to date right now. And again, it's just such a good film. It's so good.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I absolutely love this movie. I own it on DVD and I've seen it multiple times.
Yeah, me too. Me too,
And,
man.
yeah, it's an achievement because I know the hardest thing to do is to land the plane and have a good ending to a trilogy or like a TV show. And James Gunn did it, and he did it in a surprising way because leading up to the movie, everyone has their like the theory videos on who's gonna die, and
I made one, by the way.
yeah,
If you go in the Wayback Machine on this channel, you'll see I made a prediction video. But don't look at it because it's aged terribly. But
and James Gunn, he killed nobody in the movie, but it didn't feel like a cop out. Like it still was a satisfying ending, and some of the best Guardians moment, like dude, Rocket's backstory, man. We knew about it. It hinted at it in Volume 1 and 2, but it really goes into it in Volume 3, where it's his movie, which was great, and how it just ties everything into why these characters are the way they are, with Rocket and everything, and Nebula having her arc about look where she was in Volume 1, where she was like trying to kill all of them, and she was on, I wouldn't say on Thanos' side, but she was doing his orders and and getting the orb and everything. And look, she's a completely different character, like just her full arc. And yeah, this movie, it's an awesome movie. One of the best villains too, High Evolutionary, one of the best villains in the MCU. And yeah, this movie was great, and I could talk about it forever, but go watch it if you haven't seen it. It's awesome.
yeah, and even like some of the low points of the film, they weren't even like low points. Like I know people I know people complain about some of the Cosmo and Kraglin stuff that happens, and some other people say that Adam Warlock was too stupid. Well, that's the point. He's supposed to be stupid. He was released from his cocoon too early. They say it in the film. Pay attention. Certain things like that, it really isn't even a low point for me. Like everything, everything about this film is perfect. It's perfect, and I don't think that MCU can like ever top this ever. Like it's very hard. It's gonna be very hard for them to do that now that James Gunn is gone, and I know he.
And I hope there's been talks about, even like today, James Gunn was like, I wouldn't mind them continuing the Guardians with the current team, with the Rocket and Groot and I can't remember her name, but Cosmo.
The girl from the High Evolutionary Experiment.
Yeah, but I'm like, just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. It's such an awesome trilogy. To me, it's one of the best trilogies ever.
It is.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
And just leave it alone. I hope they don't touch it because it was such a perfect ending to the trilogy.
Yeah. There's not enough good things we can say about it. It's just like even talking about it now, like
you want to go rewatch it?
I want to rewatch it like so bad, but it's like
the same thing.
It's
We're making our top 10 list
at 2 a.m.
Yeah, Guardians 3 I want to rewatch, even though I've seen it multiple times this year. And then Thanksgiving 2 at number 6. I was like, when that movie hits streaming, I'm watching it.
Yeah. Like even talking about it now, it just like I feel like so cool and like calm and collected, and just like it just makes me so happy to talk about it. That's just why I'm so like very calm about it. But yeah, so yeah, that's our number 1 is Guardians. Yeah, that's our top 10. A lot of the same things, but just kind of ordered differently. I think we had it. I think you didn't have Air, and I didn't have Totally Killer. I think those were the only differences. Yeah. Which is not surprising at all. I figured we have the same ones, but Yeah, what's your favorite film of the year? If you have one, please leave it in the comments. And if you have actually are here at the end of the video and you actually listen to everything, congratulations, you win a thumbs up. And if you do like, if you do comment below your favorite, you're just gonna get an automatic like. So do that now. That's a little exchange, a little blackmail for you. But yeah, so that's gonna do it for us here. Again, follow us on our links below. Follow us on top. Follow us more, like and subscribe for more videos. But yeah, I'm Tired Cameron. That's Tired Jacob, and we'll see y'all on the next video. Happy holidays. Goodbye, y'all.